Welcome to the One to Another podcast. My name is Joanne, and today we're going to talk about counting your blessings and how important it is to have a heart of gratitude. And so I wanted to start by saying this. This is a proverb, a Persian proverb. I wept because I had no shoes until I saw a man who had no feet. Appreciation is yeast, lifting ordinary to extraordinary. That's Marianne Peddle. And then the next one is by Woody Allen. The talent for being happy is appreciating and liking what you have instead of what you don't have. And then Maurice Sutter says, too many people miss the silver lining because they're expecting the gold. And then Sarah Teasdale says, I make the most of all that comes and the least of all that goes. And then Ann Landers, when life's problems seem overwhelming, look around and see what other people are coping with. You may consider yourself fortunate. And then Ruth Ann Sadbacker says, each day comes bearing its own gifts. Untie the ribbons. And then Rose Kennedy says, life isn't a matter of milestones, but of moments. And then Elizabeth Barrett Browning, earth's crammed with heaven. So if we think about what other people have said about life and taking a look at how we live life, especially when we're coming into November and December, we need to take a look about what it says in the Bible too. It says, rejoice in the Lord always. I will say it again, rejoice. Let your gentleness be evident to all. The Lord is near. Don't be anxious about anything, but in every situation by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your request to God. And the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. Finally, brothers and sisters, whatever's true, whatever's noble, whatever's right, whatever's pure, whatever's lovely, whatever's admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about these things. And whatever you've learned or received or heard from me or seen in me, put into practice. And the peace of God will be with you. That's from Philippians 4:4-9. So I thought that I just gave you some reasons why it's important to be positive, but I thought I would just read a few more that are kind of interesting. It says, it doesn't hurt to be optimistic. You can always cry later. Happiness consists in activity. It is a running stream, not a stagnant pool. To venture causes anxiety, but not to venture is to lose oneself. Feeling gratitude and not expressing it is like wrapping a present and not giving it. Entitlement turns us into complainers. Praise the bridge that carried you over. Gratitude is not only the greatest of virtues, but the parent of all others. Every day that we wake up is a good day. Every breath that we take is filled with hope for a better day. Every word that we speak is a chance to change what is bad into something good. Many thirst, but few want to pay the price to get to the water. Change won't happen all at once or overnight, but with self-discipline, you can become stronger every day. You can change your world too, but you can't get anywhere new if you're stuck in a rut. Stubborn pride derails growth. Each day comes to me with both hands full of possibilities. Every time we remember to say thank you, we experience heaven on earth. If you want to feel rich, just count all the gifts you have that money can't buy. When you grow in gratitude, you grow all over. Expect nothing, appreciate everything. It's not happiness that makes us grateful, but gratefulness that makes us happy. And so I wondered if you've ever thought about that story of the 10 lepers that's in the scriptures. It's in Luke 7:11-19. It says, while Jesus was on his way to Jerusalem, he was passing along the border between Samaria and Galilee. And he entered a village, and he was met by 10 lepers who stood at a distance. And they raised their voices and called out, "Jesus, Master, have mercy on us." And when he saw them, he said to them, "Go and show yourselves to the priests." And as they went, they were miraculously healed and made clean. One of them, when he saw that he was healed, turned back, glorifying and praising and honoring God with a loud voice. And he lay face downward at Jesus' feet, thanking him over and over. And by the way, he was a Samaritan. And then Jesus asked, "Were not 10 of you cleansed? Where are the other 9? Was there no one found to return and give thanks and praise to God except this foreigner?" Jesus said to him, "Get up and go your way. Your faith, your personal trust in me, and your confidence in God's power has restored your health." So, the question is, are you part of the 10% who practice gratitude? Do you see life as a gift every day? Let's think about those lepers for a minute. It's interesting that they were calling out in a loud voice to Jesus, so they obviously knew that Jesus was a healer. So, of the 10 lepers who were healed, why did only one come back and say thank you? Maybe number one is maybe they were just too busy to be thankful. After all, they're getting healed and they're just too busy. Or maybe they're too cautious to be thankful. Am I really healed? Or what about they waited to see what Jesus wanted in return? Or what about being too good to be really true? If it's too good to be really true, then it's too good to be true. How about being too self-centered to be thankful? Maybe they were thinking that the sick life was simpler. Now they had to get a job and play a role in society. Maybe they were too arrogant. They were really never sick. Besides being grateful to admit to being needy, who wants to show weakness when you have an image to protect? I think what's true of the 10 lepers is true about us. That sometimes we cry out for God to heal us. We want Him to come in and do something for us that we're desperate about. And then lo and behold, He does it. And then we forgot, and we forget to stop and say thank you. And we just go on and on and on. Life is so complicated today. I wonder how often when we do pray for something that we just don't stop and say thank you. I know this is true for me when I go to Costco. I pray for a parking spot. Now, I have a handicap sticker, but a lot of times the handicap sticker parking spots are always full. And so as I drive in, I just say, "Lord, I just need a parking place. I know that you have one just perfect for me." And as I drive around maybe once, here comes the perfect spot. And I drive into it, and I always stop right then and say, "Thank you. Thank you for this parking spot. I don't have to walk miles in the rain, or I don't have to do anything. I have this perfect spot. I can go in, take care of what I need, and come out. And when I come out and I get in my car, I say again, 'Oh, Lord, thank you for this parking spot. It was perfect.'" It's the little things sometimes. Yeah, the lepers were really sick, and God healed all of them, but only one turned back. And I'm wondering, how many times do we turn back? How many times do we stop when we've asked? Do we stop and kneel down and say, "Thank you for this incredible healing. Thank you for this answer. Thank you, thank you, thank you." Because I believe that being thankful is remembering to remember to be thankful. So, as we think about the lepers and their life and how it changed, well, let's talk about gratitude for a minute. Gratitude is the quality of being thankful. Gratitude results from unmerited favor from our own strivings and requires no payment in debt. Indebtedness occurs when a person perceives that they're under an obligation to make repayment to the person that's helped them. Indebtedness can cause you to avoid the person who's helped you. Gratitude, on the other hand, is like a grace gift. It motivates you to seek out another person and improve the relationship. And it requires us to have the heart of humility and acknowledge that we could not be who we are without the kind gifts that we receive. A spirit of gratitude acknowledges that others, including our spouses, friends, and God, gave us many gifts, big and small, to help us achieve the goodness in our life. Gratitude is a relationship and it's a strengthening spirit. It's more than a feeling, it's an attitude. It's having that attitude of gratitude. It's a choice. I make a choice when something good happens to stop and say thank you. It's a motive. You know what? It can be for you in the middle of all your grief to make it a way of life. For one thing, I know it increases happiness about 25%. It's contagious relationship that chooses gratitude instead of complaint. Every day we have moments where we sidestep a conscious effort to be grateful because we feel entitled or we have something that we've taken for granted. But once we decide to be more grateful, gratitude appears. So the first step in bringing gratitude into your life and your relationship is merely choosing to be thankful. You know what? It's just as simple as that. I can tell you that being raised in a family of silence, that the first sign my dad ever taught me in sign language was thank you. And you know, I have thanked him many, many times when he was still alive for teaching me that one sign first. He didn't teach me mother or father. He taught me how to say thank you. And I believe with so much stress in our lives right now, that maybe that humility of being grateful, whether it's just getting a pen that works and it really writes well, or where you get your groceries and there's a coupon in there and you're saving $10. Or maybe it's just that wonderful smile that a friend gave you when you saw them coming and you were going to go have coffee or tea or something together. You know, those are the things that are so important in deciding to be a grateful person. So one of the things that I talk about regularly is how to start a gratitude journal. I believe that everybody should have one. And I feel strongly that a gratitude journal is something where you start counting your blessings. And I believe it's important to count them and not just go through the motions, but to really say to yourself, okay, each day, or maybe 3 times a week, or whatever you're going to do it, I do it every day, that I say to myself, I want to find something that I'm really grateful for. And it's not just going through the motions, but it's something that really wells up in my heart. And yeah, I found that the act of keeping a journal does nothing if your heart's not in it. If you're saying, I'm just doing this because Joanne says I need to do it, well, that's not going to work. You've got to begin to have something that comes into your heart. And I think it's important to go for the depth over breadth. And so, in other words, if you're thankful for your friends and you have a lot of them or you have a few, then you might write down, well, you know, I had coffee with my friend, but I was so thankful for the fact that she listened to me. And then, you know what? She gave me that great big smile. And not only that, but she gave me a word of encouragement. So you go for the depth of what you write instead of just maybe one sentence. And then I think it's important to elaborate in detail about the things you're really grateful for, because it carries more benefit than a superficial list of many things. So if you're going to begin to do this, maybe you write down 1, 2, 3, 3 things. You leave them empty and you say to yourself, today, I'm going to write down 3 things for which I'm grateful. And it may take me a while to find those 3 things, but my page is not going to be empty at the end of the day. And I think one of the things that I've discovered is to savor surprises. Try recording events that were surprising, as it tends to make you be more grateful. Maybe it was something like somebody gave you a card to go to Starbucks, and it was a $5 card. And it gave you an opportunity to go in there and have a cup of coffee. So you want to write down the surprises. For me, I like to go out into my garden and my flower garden, and I like to see all my flowers, and I'll say, I'm just so thankful that my daisies are flourishing and they just look beautiful, and I'm thankful that I've gotten the ability to water them and fertilize them and just come out into my garden and sit and just enjoy the flowers that are there. See, I think it's important to be able to savor what is important and write it down. Maybe I wrote down here a surprise cup of coffee with a friend, a phone call just to check on your health. How you doing today? Maybe savoring your good feelings and the bond that glue people together. People who savor together stay together. I know that's true. Take a mental picture consciously to be aware of things you want to remember later. The sounds of laughter, touching moments between friends, seizing that in your mind. Someone just taking your hand and saying a prayer for you. We need to learn to absorb the moments. It's not just writing a list. It's absorbing the moments and then placing them in your book. Because I believe also you need to enjoy the passage of time. Good moments pass quickly, so you need to consciously relish them. I believe struggle ends when gratitude begins. So last Sunday, my daughter Amy came over, and we had a special celebration for Ron for his 91st birthday. And several people took pictures of him celebrating and sent them to me. And so we spent the afternoon working on a Christmas card. And it was so much fun to see Amy's creativity with a computer. That's certainly not mine. But I told her I knew the pictures that I wanted. I knew what I wanted to say, but I didn't know how to put it together. And you know what? I just savored those moments as I saw Amy creating this wonderful Christmas card. And I'm so grateful to her. I thanked her for doing that for us. It's those moments that we have that maybe we think, oh, it's just part of my day, or it's just part of whatever. It's the idea that we remember to remember and savor something good. And so my challenge to you today is, okay, when are you going to start counting your blessings? And when are you going to start writing them down? And when are you going to begin to sense in your life that you just have a little more gratefulness because you're taking the time to write it down? I want to encourage you to get some kind of a book. It doesn't have to be fancy, but something where you can start writing down your blessings. I know you'll be blessed as you do that. And I'll be blessed too to know that you took up my suggestion. So I hope you take one more step towards healing in your life and wherever you are, and just know that I'm in your corner. God bless you today.